Aloha, everyone. This is Nikki Keohoho, CEO and co-founder of the Direct Selling World Alliance and Coach Excellence School. We're happy to have you with us today and that you made this commitment of time and resources to be here with us, to learn a lot of new things, and I know that you will. Oh, here's another one. Boy, we have a lot of Aussies represented today and Canadians too. So thank you again for being with us. So let's get started with what we've got to share today. So 5 steps to coach someone who's stuck. That's what we're going to talk about. I'm going to give you the 5 steps first, and then you'll grab them as you go through. Step number 1, discover what may be holding them back. That's one thing you've got to understand. What may be holding them back? And we're going to come back to that in a minute. Step number 2, we want to know how to engage the person to want to be coached. So you're going to learn how to engage a person to want to be coached. Step number 3, we're going to focus on the future with that person. Focus on the future. Step number 4, move the person into agreed action and accountability so they actually do something with it, which is an important part of this whole deal. And then the final step, number 5, celebrate and acknowledge progress. So those are the 5 steps. I'll repeat them again in a little while so you can grab them. If you don't have pen and paper right now, or colored markers, or using your storyboards if you've already been to coach school, all those things will support you to get more out of this webinar. So be 100% present. Please don't multitask. Just stay with us. So let's begin with what causes someone to not progress in their business. What causes someone to not progress in their business? And there are several things that can cause that. If you have any ideas, you can type them into the box. I'd love to see what you think. This is what we have found, and then I'll come back and read those that are in the box. This is what I've found. They're no longer connected to their emotional why is probably the number 1 reason. No longer connected to their emotional why, their emotional reason for doing this business, their purpose, what drives them. If they're missing that, guarantee they're stuck. They're not progressing. They're staying in the same place. Another thought, they are tired, bored, or burnt out. And some people are sick and tired of being sick and tired, and they keep saying they're exhausted, so they're more exhausted. And I'm just going to say, we've got to prevent leaders from being burnt out today. We make it look hard, and then the people feel it's hard. So being able to support people early on so they don't get burnt out and walk away, that's a big thing. And generally, if they're tired, bored, and burnt out, they need a new vision or a new approach. They're kind of bored. They want something different. And maybe brainstorming with somebody to create another way. That's one really good thing that's happened with the COVID. It was a big pattern interrupt. People that had been doing things for a certain way for many, many years couldn't do it that way during this time. And they pivoted and made an adjustment. So they learned new things. So now we have more tools in our toolbox, which is a really good thing. Here's a couple of other comments that have come in beyond what I have, and I'd like to read those. It says, are the slides supposed to be progressing? This is all just one thing. The reason we do this with an interesting picture with a few words, because then we can talk and expand and contract, so we don't move up. We don't have a lot of slides. We want you to get the picture, get the idea, and get thinking about what's next. So here's a couple of other thoughts. Unwilling to change. Some people are unwilling to do anything different. Well, I became successful doing this when I started 35 years ago, and it's worked for me so far. So I'm just going to stay where I am. Not good. You don't want to just stay where you are, because if you're not moving, you're left behind. That's really what it is about. Now, I don't know why the screen sharing is not working for you. I hope it's working for everybody else. But I don't know. I got it up and it says I'm sharing it. So I'm not quite sure. I'll try one more time and see if that does it, but that's what we got. Here's another thought: encountering disappointments. If people have had some success and then maybe it went away, or something didn't work that they tried. They had a goal to get to be a, $500,000 director this year, and they ended up at 488. They think that's a disappointment versus celebrating the progress. So encountering disappointments, um, unwilling to change. We've covered some of those. I've got a couple more. Lack of training can cause somebody to be stuck. They really don't know what to do in this situation. So they may need training. If they've already been trained, they don't need more training. Then the need is for coaching, or they're going to stay there. Some people are stuck in their comfort zone. They don't want to enlarge their comfort zone. They want to stay in there because it's warm and fuzzy. Well, guess what? When you're stuck in your comfort zone, you don't get out, you don't progress. These are all reasons for not progressing. It's no longer fun. If somebody is not moving forward, it's because it isn't fun for them anymore. If fun is a high value. So think about this. How can I make my business fun? That's a great self-coaching question. If that's you and you know you've lost the fun, how can I make this business fun for me again? It's kind of like when people are in a relationship and they're bored in a relationship, it's like, how can I make this relationship fun again? What can I do to create more interest in our relationship? These principles for coaching don't just apply in your business, folks. They apply every place in your life. Just be aware that that's it. So I don't know what's going on with the slides. I apologize if they're not showing. So for everybody, we're still here on making progress in the business. Here's a couple of more. Lack of appreciation. Many people want to be appreciated. They want to be noticed. They want to feel like somebody cares about what they're doing. So lack of appreciation makes people still stay in the same place. Lack of a challenge. There's no challenge. They're not challenged any longer. It's boring. So what can I do to challenge myself today? Is a great self-coaching question. What can I do to challenge myself today? How can I enlarge my comfort zone today? Those are all great self-coaching questions. Okay, let's move on for a minute. Let's get over here to what may be holding these people back. What's the elephant in the room? Because guess what? People that are held back are generally holding themselves back. It's not somebody else saying, no, I don't want you to progress. So it's us. It's our own stories, our own beliefs that can hold us back. And nobody wants to address the elephant in the room. And so they just keep doing it. Coaching addresses the elephant in the room. Coaching creates conversations. And I'm going to tell you, hauling that elephant up those steps doesn't look easy, does it? Doesn't look easy at all. So here, let's talk about what might be holding somebody back. Many of them are based on fear. Anybody have any ideas of what kind of fear might hold somebody back? You can type it into the box. The slides are progressing, so if you're having trouble, I apologize. That's the last time I'm going to bring it up, but for some reason, people aren't, it's not working for some, so my apologies. But rejection, of course, would be, fear of rejection is a big one. People are afraid somebody's going to tell them no. Well, I'm going to tell you what, you're not going to die. You're going to get told no a lot in your lifetime. It's not just this one time around this business. Fear of not enough. I don't have enough. I don't know enough. I'm not good enough. That's a big one. Failure or not being successful, thinking I can't. So fear of failure, or I'm not successful enough to do that for somebody. Wow. Just personal fear. Here's another one. Boy, there's a lot of failure coming up. That fear of failure is, all of these are a coachable moment, folks. Every single one of them, you can coach somebody through this. Fear of success, absolutely. Being found out, that's an interesting comment. For somebody to really know I'm not really that good. I really am not as confident as I look. So I'll just hide behind this. Not seeing the big picture and not believing in themselves. Man, you ought to be teaching this class. Insecurity holds people back. Being a fear of being judged absolutely holds people back. Self-sabotage, that's a whole nother class, but yes, it happens all the time. Fear of the unknown. Well, I don't know what'll happen. Well, you never know what's going to happen. We don't know what tomorrow's going to bring. So you get the idea that there's tons of them. So when there's fears not addressed, we leave the elephant in the room. Here's some other things that hold people back. Loss of vision, loss of clarity of what I'm doing here, how I got here, where I'm going. Giving up. Sometimes people just give up before they ever got there. So what's holding them back is the ease in which they give up. Last night I was playing Chutes and Ladders. I mean, I have some very strange games with my grandchildren, and we were playing Chutes and Ladders. And my granddaughter kept getting the one where you have to go backwards, and she got it like 3 times. And she said, Mimi, I don't want to play. And I said, so what would make you not want to play? Well, I can't win. I said, how do you know that? And she said, well, look, at every time I go forward, I take 3 steps back. So does that mean that's forever, or is this for right now? And she pondered for a few minutes. And she said, I guess if I give up, I'll never know. I said, wow, you're insightful. You are thinking beyond the current circumstances. She goes, let's play. And she went into the serious mode. So in play, we can learn things about ourselves and other people. It's a really good thing. Use every coaching moment that you can. Here's another one that people say what holds them back. They get easily distracted. We're chasing too many rabbits. Well, that's a good idea. That's a good idea. That's a good idea. We have ideas all over the place. So we're running everywhere. What also might be holding back. Now, this I'm going to be careful with, because people say my family or my spouse. That can hold you back, folks, if you allow that. Make your family your reason, not your excuse. And many people have been successful in this business without support from their spouse. I'm not saying, just say, well, I'm doing it anyway. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, how can you get his support or her support? And by the way, sometimes the way to the heart is through the pocketbook. They see you making some money, that may change. And all of a sudden it could be their business, which is quite interesting. So lots and lots of good reasons that people are held back. Every single one of those is a coachable moment. Every single one can be coached. And if there's somebody at the end that wants to be coached on something, I'm going to give you an opportunity, and then you step up and say, it's me, and we'll work through that. So here's another thought. Do you know someone who is stuck? I like this picture because she's sleeping and it's like, I'm going to look like I'm awake. Nobody will notice these Post-it notes on my eyeballs. So here's the deal. This person that you may know might be someone on your team, might be a friend or an associate. Maybe it's in your job, somebody you're working with. Maybe it's a family member. Maybe it's you. Totally possible. Could be any of those things. So are we going to allow ourselves and them sit back and stay stuck? Or are we going to do something in support of them? That's why learning to coach is so critical. Coaching is the #1 retention tool in the direct selling profession. And what we are finding from all the research that we're doing right now, in just a regular old job, especially the millennials, are expecting to be coached. They're expecting that that's going to happen. So every great leader has got to learn this skill in order to be of the greatest service to other people and your own family. Just like with my little granddaughter this week, that was a coachable moment. Don't let those go by. Step into it. Even if you're not sure of what you're doing yet. There's only 5 skills to coaching. You don't have to know them all. Just pick one and start there. It might be empowering questions, because that's pretty much what I did with her, is asked her questions that empowered her to think beyond her current circumstances. So write the name of that person down that you think might be stuck, so at some point we can come forward with them. So how can coaching benefit them? We have a lot of people on this call today, and a lot of people who are have been through coaching school, taken classes, and so on. And I really would like you to type into the box how you think coaching can benefit them. And while you're doing that, I had a question from Kieran, I guess you say. What is the difference between coaching and training? They're actually opposite skills. Training is me telling you, coaching is me drawing from you. Training is my agenda, coaching is your agenda. Training, I'm the expert, and coaching, the person you're coaching is the expert. It's very different skill sets. And there's lots of content on the DSWA app that you can, go and get more information about that. So here's a couple of benefits from coaching that are popping in here right now. And somebody has heard me say this. People don't object to their own answers. It saves you and them time. So when you coach, they don't make objections for their own answers. They're theirs. So you don't have to chase them around the block 19 laps, which is really good. We keep them focused on their goals. Absolutely. Coaching could benefit me and all of my consultants who want to move up. I can tell you the analytics would shock you at what this does for moving up other people. They can think a new thought, because remember, the most current thought is the most important thought. So whatever you're thinking right now, if you don't know how to turn that thought around through self-coaching, or you don't have a coach that can support you to get that thought turned around, you're going to be stuck in the same old place. Here's one. Coaching can help them see in the mirror, to do self-reflection. Very true. Hold the mirror up. Oh, Brittany, so glad to have you here with us. Coaching frees me up from feeling I need to have all the answers. And it empowers the person I'm coaching to learn to discover their own answers. It takes pressure off of the leaders, absolutely. And you have more energy, which is really good. I support you in owning your own power and vision. It supports somebody to own their own power and their own vision. It empowers them. All true. Here's the thing. If we know there are benefits to coaching other people, what would hold us back from learning that skill? I was a teacher, and I so wish part of my teaching curriculum would have been coaching. Now we're working with educators, teaching them how to use coaching in the classroom, because it empowers the students, makes them think. Your brain has to work 6 to 7 times harder for every question that is asked versus a statement. Your brain can be almost dead, just sitting there and acting like you're listening. But the question engages the brain, which is a very powerful thing. So we move people through and past limiting beliefs with coaching. Here's one other one that came in from Anne. A good coach is amazing. A coach will hear what you're saying and get you to move forward by asking questions for you to answer on your own. Very, very true. Good point. When you are coaching someone, they feel safe. They feel heard. They know there is no judgment. People need a safe place to talk today, more so than we've ever had in the past. We got a lot of problems going on in our world because of this isolation and things that are going on. So every one of us must learn to listen to other people, to be 100% present with them, with no judgment. When you are learning to coach, you discover self-coaching. You learn how to take care of yourself. You learn how to take small risks, just baby steps when you do the agreed action and accountability. People that are being coached learn to honor themselves. That's a powerful thing, honoring yourself. Coaching removes obstacles. Thank you, Deborah. Linda says, when I'm coached, I feel worthy of her. Wow, that is an insightful thought. It makes you feel worthy, makes you feel valued, makes you feel special. Those are all very powerful things. So coaching can benefit a lot of people, yet people still are confused at what it even is. They're confusing it with therapy and counseling and cheerleading. In some companies, these people have 10 pom-poms They're cheering them for, you can do it, you can do it, you can do it. That is not coaching. It doesn't stick. So let's take this next thought. How to engage the person to want to be coached. Now, this is number 2 out of the ones that we've talked about so far. How do we engage the person to want to be coached? You see, some people not knowing what coaching is, they don't want to be coached because they think you're going to tell them what to do in the form of a question. That is not coaching. So they say no because they don't even know what it is. So I'm going to tell you how, part of this is to explain what coaching is and what it isn't to your existing team. So they know you're not going to tell them what to do. In the past, this was how we had these conversations, and I even called them coaching conversations. And guess what? It was a let me tell you what to do, or why haven't you done it yet? So I don't know, and I'm sorry that's how it was for many years. It doesn't need to be that way anymore. We all can become masterful at coaching, just in a few, classes that really dive into this. You can get good. Anybody that's been in our previous coach schools, I can tell you, they improved. And right now we're in the middle of our proficiencies in level 2, and several of those people are on this call. I've watched their progress. So you getting good at it, you're going to be, because people are getting results, you're going to engage more people. You're going to build trust with people. That's one of the 5 principles, that they trust you and that you are trustworthy, and you don't talk about what they tell you. You engage them because they know they can trust you. You will engage them when you move from fixing them and being the answer queen or queen to the person that is empowering them. When you are doing that, guess what? They want to be coached. They want to be coached. In coaching, you hold people as whole and complete. They are not broken. Your job is not to fix them. And when you're a good coach, you never go to fixing. Well, what you need to do is, or what you should do, or what your next steps are, or here's what I would do. That is not coaching. And we wonder why we create codependent relationships in our profession. Sometimes people won't make a decision on their own at all because of what's happened. So, moving away from fixing them, when they see what coaching has done for others, much greater chance that they will want to be coached. So how do you invite someone to be coached by you? How do you invite them? First of all, you don't say, honey, you have issues. You need to be coached. Let me just do that for you. I'll fix you. That's not what it looks like. So you explain what coaching is, and you ask permission to coach. If they haven't signed up for coaching calls, may I ask you a few questions around that? That's permission to coach. Because if they don't know what coaching is and you use that word, they're confused. So may I ask you a few questions around that? And the questions all begin starting off with who, what, when, where, how. Who, what, when, where, how, not why. Because why has judgment, no matter what, perceived judgment in it. Why aren't you doing that? That doesn't work so well. So, and again, those of you that have come on late, there are slides, but for some reason, some people are not showing and others they are. So who knows what that's about. So the third step of the 5 steps is to focus on the future. What I want you to understand, coaching is not about the past. Counseling and therapy can be about the past. Coaching is about today going forward. It's about the future. So when we focus on the future, they don't feel judged over what's happened in the past. It's like having a new start today, a new start today. So how do you keep them focusing on the future? Questions like, well, what do you think is your next step? How would you go about handling that in the future? From today going forward, what do you think is important for you to activities? What are your income producing activities now? Those are questions not about, well, what'd you do last week? Didn't look like you did anything to me. No. So it's about today going forward. The one thing we do when you learn about coaching call preparation sheets and you're prepared for your coaching calls, you might start off with last week what you'd said you wanted to accomplish was to make 10 phone calls and on Thursday, but it doesn't matter when they happen. Tell me how you did with those 10 phone calls. Well, Johnny stubbed his toe. Oh, so how many calls, if any, were you able to make? I made one. Well, tell me about that one call. What happened on that call? Oh, she wasn't home. I left her a voicemail. Well, how did you follow up with her? Well, I haven't yet. This is one of those people that lives below the line. They always blame, shame, and justify everything. They don't live in responsibility for their own actions. If that person doesn't move into action at some point, that's not someone for you to invest your time in coaching. They've got to be doing something to earn the right to be coached by you. They got to have desire and not making excuses for why things didn't happen. And I can't judge or say, you only made one, you said you were going to make 10. No, with the one. And say, so now, next time, if she said, oh, I'm going to make 10 this week, what I might say is, so when will you have time to commit to making those 10 calls? Oh, well, I have 10 minutes on Wednesday. So how many quality calls can you make in those 10 minutes? Oh, maybe one. So who is that one person that you're committed to calling this week? We want them to win. We don't want to set people up for failure. There's enough failure in our world. We don't need to be a part of that. So focus on the future. So that was number 3, focus on the future. If you've got comments or thoughts, throw it into the chat box, please, and I'll be sure to answer. Number 4, move the person into agreed action and accountability. That's the 4th skill. So I'm just going to name the skills for those of you that know nothing about coaching. The first skill is empowering and powerful questions that you ask people. Second skill is heart-centered listening, listening for the meaning behind the words. And you're going to get this recording so you can grab these later if you didn't get it now. Third skill is compassionate feedback. When somebody has a blind spot, how to bring that blind spot forward without making the person angry, resist, or upset. It's a conversation. Fourth skill is agreed action and accountability. And the 5th skill is I see you acknowledgement, understanding how to acknowledge people. So move the person into agreed action and accountability. This is them, not you telling them what to do. Well, if you get on the phone this week and call 10 people, you'll have a great week. They never said they were going to do it. And then we wonder why they don't. We told them they were going to do it, and they never agreed to it. So what would make us disappointed? Because it was never their idea anyway. Go back and just kind of rethink some of the things that have happened through the years, and this will make sense to you. So how do you move the person to agreed action and accountability? So what's next for you? What would be your first step? How do you plan to make that happen? How will I know when this happened so I can celebrate with you? Or how will you let me know when that happens so I can celebrate with you? So it's timing, when, who, how, all of those things to move them to action. Sometimes, and I know there's people on this call, I know many of the people on this call. Some of you are so nice. You're all nice, but are really nice and really good listeners. And you listen and you listen and you listen. And then you say, well, have a good week. And you hang up and nothing happens. You had a conversation with no results. This is the skill that may be missing. Because you don't want to be pushy. You don't want to put them on the spot. Well, I'll tell you what, if you don't do this, you just had a conversation, no results. So you can't skip this part in these conversations. So even when if my granddaughter says, I'm going to clean my room. Oh, great. When are you going to do that? Sometime this week. What day works for you? Oh, Thursday. So where are you going to start? Oh, I'll start by picking everything up off the floor. That's a great place to start. So what is the picture of what you want your room to look like when this is done? How are we going to celebrate when it's completed? All of that is moving them into action. Otherwise, Just because somebody said they're going to do something doesn't mean they're going to do it. I want everybody to understand this. Just because somebody wants something doesn't mean they're going to do anything about it. If they're not committed to doing something, and that's why I use the word commitment. Everybody say this to me. One of the principles in coaching is integrity. Operating in integrity. That is doing what you say you're going to do. So everybody say this with me and just move your hand with me and say this. I think I'm going to tell you what to say in a minute. Commitment is tied to integrity. So say it with me again. Commitment is tied to integrity. When somebody uses the word commitment, their integrity, their self, how they see themselves is in question if they don't do what they say they're going to do, and it may be questioned by another person. So commitment's a powerful word. So I say, on a scale of 1 to 10, how committed are you to making that happen? Much greater chance than say, well, let me know how that goes. No tie-in. And when you say something out loud, such as commitment, that is a big factor. You're actually supposed to be seeing, only thing that you're supposed to, because we're having problems with the slides for some reason. I don't know what that is, but I'm showing my screen and you're seeing a slide. That's what you should be seeing. So if not, there's something going on and I don't know what that is. I know Zoom had like 1,000% growth in a month. So maybe there's something going on with them. I don't know. Or maybe you have low, what is that called? Internet speed. I can't tell you. So I'm sorry that that's happened. I'm just glad you're here and at least you're listening to this. Maybe when you get the recording, it'll have the slides and then that will help you too. So thanks everybody for that. So move people to that agreed action and accountability. And if you don't expect anything to happen. So the fifth piece that we've been talking about today is celebrate and acknowledge progress. And I want to say this to everybody. Celebrate and acknowledge your own progress. Sometimes we just go, got her done, check, got her done. That isn't a celebration, folks. And I'm not saying you have to throw confetti. That's kind of a mess to clean up. But it might be just going for a walk without counting your steps, looking for birds or butterflies. It might be just going and reading a story or singing a song with your child. It might be going, and having a cup of coffee in the middle of the afternoon just because you can, or a glass of juice. I don't know what it is for you. I just know that the journey is difficult without celebration. And most people do not celebrate in their life. And they don't have anybody to celebrate with. For there's a misconception that if you celebrate with somebody else, you're kind of bragging, unless it's your family. People want to know good things are happening today. Folks, people, with all the stuff that's going on in our world, we want to hear something that's joyful, that's progress, that feels like the world's becoming a better place. That's all up to us. That is all up to us. So celebrating can be quiet, or it can be standing on your desk and jumping up and down or putting on your happy song. I don't know. It is not always, you may have a goal coming from here to here for this year, and you get here. I don't see a lot of people celebrate that. They say, I didn't make it, so I failed. Celebrate the progress. How much more income did you make as a result of that stretch to get as far as you got? How many more people did you make a difference for in their lives because you stretched and went for that? What was the role model that you were setting for your family when you said, this is where we're going and I'm going to work very hard and I'm not giving up. I'm going to do the best I can with everything I have that's in my control to make this happen. Now I'm going to tell you what, nobody planned for COVID. Nobody thought this would stop the world and everything would come to an end. and so therefore, none of us were really prepared. So guess what though? Most people are going on. Most people are making things happen. The ones that are living in fear are sitting and waiting. Definitely need to be coached to get over that thing. Because if you do nothing, you have zero results. So everyone being a person who shares and celebrates with others and give them space to share and to celebrate. Really very important. So here's a couple questions that have come in, and keep sending those questions through. What do you do when you ask on a scale of 1 to 10, how committed are you? And they say 7 or 8. Do you reevaluate their plan with them? Not as simple. If somebody said I'm a 7, maybe an 8. So what will it take for you to be a 9 or a 10? What adjustments could you make to be a 9 or a 10? These are all separate questions, one question at a time. Or you might ask, what, if anything, made you select those numbers? Where did that come from? And it's almost always, I don't want to fail. I am not sure I believe I can. It's a limiting belief. Because if they had no fear around it, they'd say they were a 10. They knew they had the time. They'd say they were a 10. So don't give up on it. If they are a 1 or a 2, even 3, 4, 5, 6, I've got to just say this to everybody. That's hard to drag those folks across the finish line to a 10. It is. Especially like if you're talking about inviting them into your business. On a scale of 1 to 10, where do you see yourself right now? 10 being you can't wait to get started. 1, this isn't for me. And if they say they're a 1, is that no, not now, or no, not ever? And if they say no, not ever, thank you for your honesty. I really appreciate that. There's still 3 ways we can work together. First way, certainly I'd love to be your personal shopper and support you in getting the products that you'd like. Second way, you may want to be a host if you're a party plan company and get your products free or half price. If you're a network marketing company, second way, you may know someone who would enjoy having an additional $100, $500, $5,000 or more per month coming into the household. Or you may know someone who would enjoy these products. Keep the person connected. This is a relationship business, folks. A relationship business. We want to keep these relationships open. So here, oh, Barbara, so happy to hear you. Barbara was in one, and her husband were in one of our very first coach school classes. So glad that you joined us. That's a great answer, a question. What was going on that you picked the number? Yeah, what's happening? Where did that number come from? That will support you to understand their reasoning, because almost always it's a limiting belief or something that is behind there. So we've got some questions. I know that you've got, it can be about anything around the business. Type into the chat box if you would like to ask that question verbally, and I can hopefully find you and unmute you, or you can raise your hand. We got a lot of people on here, so I got to scroll a lot. Elia, so happy to have you with us. Thanks for joining us too. You can raise your hand if you don't know where that orange hand is, or type into the box. If you have something that's caused you to be stuck, or you have someone on your team that is stuck and you don't know what to do with them, I'm saving this time to practice with you. So is Ariel, I don't know if that was you saying yes, you wanted to. Let's look for these hands. Here's a hand. Joanne Cruz, I guess it is. I'm going to allow you to talk. So Miss Joanne, can you hear me?
I can.
Oh, good. Where are you calling from today, Joanne?
I am in Minnesota.
Oh, beautiful. Well, thank you for joining us. So what would you like to ask or be coached around?
Well, our unit finished DIQ right before COVID hit, so we kind of exhausted all of the leads that we were working with, and I've built my business really on warm chat. And so I feel stuck as the director, so I feel like my unit's following suit. So I'm just wondering where the pivot could be for coaching myself to get leads somewhere.
Okay, thank you so much, Joanne, for speaking up. So you're feeling stuck because for those of you that don't know what warm chatter is, that's being out talking to people in public, connecting with people, meeting people, very much face to face. So, and now that you're not face to face, you're feeling stuck because you're not quite sure what else to do.
Very much so.
Who else in your company has pivoted and found other ways to build those relationships?
Well, I've talked to my sales director, my senior sales director, and she's given me a couple ideas to use. I'm just in a small community, and she was talking about putting out facial boxes in different places. But again, now with Minnesota's putting mandatory masking on, and so getting close to people, you know, it seems like people are very standoffish around me. So it's,
Mm,
I'm just feeling stuck over this.
okay, who else that maybe you haven't spoken with yet that you've heard about in your company that is doing things online?
One part of Kristen's group, her group. So I've heard some ideas through Kristen Sharp's group.
Hmm. And so and boy, she had a great year. I'm telling you, a
She
great.
did.
And so what I wanted to ask you is, of the things that she has been teaching and doing that are virtual, which of those have you stepped into and um, worked with?
We actually have 3 different opportunities for our consultants to get on Zoom meetings. So we've got like a virtual makeover, we've got a heavenly hydration makeover, we've got a no sample makeover chat, and then we have career chats that are all virtual. So we've got a lot of different arenas that we can participate in, and I'm getting like 1, maybe 2 consultants once in a while to join us. And I've got a few guests myself that come on, but it's not enough to be where I want to be.
So you're offering those. What are you doing for your personal business, Joanne?
I am working through some leads that I had they're probably cold, but I kept all the names from fairs that I've done. I'm just going back and revisiting all those names since I don't have a way to get face to face. I'm getting voice to voice. So I'm starting to call those people, but you have to talk to a lot of people when they become a cold lead to get a booking. So it's been interesting.
I'm just curious, what prevented you from calling them before?
They did get called before, but if they say no, I just keep their name. Like you say, it might be no, not right now. So I never throw a name away because I just feel like situations change, or they might lose their consultant or something. So I always just keep the names that I've gotten from all my booths.
Mhm. Okay, I'm going to move to training for just a moment, Joanne, because I want you to
Okay.
think about this. When you say the words I am, whatever you say behind those 2 words follows you. So I am stuck. Pretty good chance you'll stay stuck. What else could you say besides I am stuck?
I am pivoting,
Wow. So what does that pivot look like for you?
maybe trying to get leads from current customers.
Hmm. So maybe trying to do that, or you will do that.
We'll do that. Yeah, we'll do that
And when will you do that?
tonight.
How exciting. That is a step in the right direction. You know, when you think of the word pivoting, what comes to mind for you?
I was in basketball, so it's, you know, the whole pivot in basketball is when you're going one way and you can't, you can pivot and go a different direction.
Wow, that means a lot to you then, that you know you're capable of that.
Yeah,
Hmm.
I did it during DIQ. I was quite a ways away at the end, and we pulled it together at the very last day. But um, yeah, this was a whole different situation with not having leads, because at that point I had tons of people, so I felt confident.
So what makes you lack confidence in this area right now?
Just working with people that I've never talked to, like with referrals. When I'm warm chatting, I can create rapport and get to know people. But when I'm just cold calling somebody that I've never met based on a referral, it feels a little bit too cold for me. To where like, what do I say to get them engaged?
Okay, this is for everybody right now. I'm going to move back over to training. Here's the thing, just the word cold call. How do you feel when you say, I'm going to cold call people? What does that do for you, Joanne, those words?
It's more difficult.
There's this is a whole different training from the coach
It
school.
is.
Enlightened vocabulary. Word choices that we use affect us in a big way. So I'm going to say, if you found another word besides I'm going to cold call, what else could you say?
I'm going to connect.
Wow, doesn't that feel different?
Way different.
So,
Yeah, way different.
yeah, here's, and I'm not going to go all the way through this because I think you're pretty committed to making those calls tonight, but I'm going to say this. Joanne, you were an athlete. You know what it takes to win. That you
Hmm.
have to if you came through sports. You know that when there's a block this way, you pivot and you can go the other way, and then you can pivot again and go another way. There,
Hmm.
it's the thing is just don't sit there and look at the person in front of you going, you're not getting through me. You're stuck.
Hmm.
And when
Good
you,
visual.
yeah, very, you have a whole new, all around you opportunities to pivot to. And when are you going to begin to take those opportunities and walk into them?
As soon as we hang up here.
I'm really proud of you, Joanne. You have tenacity and determination. And I don't use this word very often with women, but you're a fighter. And it's not that you go to battle, you play all out. You go for it. Basketball is a tough sport for women. You know, you can have you can get shut down, you can get knocked down, you got a lot of things. You get right back up and you go again. You've got that in you, Joanne. Just apply it here in this business and watch what happens. Thank you
Awesome.
so much.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. So everyone, I have a couple more questions that just came in. Uh, do you set specific time limit to work with the person who is stuck, and what would that time limit be? Okay, so people that you are, when you know what coaching is and understand it, yes, you have a specific time, you have coaching conversations scheduled, and they fill out the coaching call preparation sheet that we give you so that you know exactly what they're looking for. So at least you have a starting question, where to begin. And if somebody is stuck, that conversation, they've probably said it to you in a couple of different ways. You know, I'm not happy with what's going on in the business right now. You know, nobody's doing anything. You got all this other stuff that they say to you. So, you know, what do you think could come from a conversation to figure out how to move beyond this? How would that benefit you to have a conversation to move beyond this? How committed are you to getting through this situation? Those are all different questions that you can ask, and set a time and start into it, because it's a disservice to leave people in that way. You know, I think back, I recently went to a class reunion. I call it the old fart class reunion. There were a bunch of oldie moldies in there. And not that I wasn't one. And anyway, I remember some of these kids from high school that had big vision, big dreams. And as the years went on and I'd go to a reunion, they were talking about, well, I just can't wait to retire. I just can't wait to retire. And many of them retired and died, and that's not good. So, and why do I bring this up? I didn't have the skills at that time to support somebody to see the vision and how to get there. I was a good listener. I didn't have the skills. That's never going to happen again. I can support somebody wherever they are to see beyond their current circumstances and see a pathway to what's next. That's what coaching does. That's why it's a gift to everybody that you can be in contact with. It's a beautiful gift. So, what is the best way? Here's another question from Susan. What is the best way to help a 1 to 4 person truly understand they need to take action instead of just talking about it, or possibly help them understand it's time to possibly walk away? So, if the 1 to 4 person, well, what's it going to take to move you to a 9 or a 10? Well, I got to work and I just don't want to work that hard. So, what are you willing to do? Oh, I'm willing to service my customers and take care of my customers. So, how are you doing that now? Well, not very well. So, what could you do in that one area to start to see some movement? So, break things down. They don't have to do it all. And most people are all or nothing people. They're willing to either do it all or they do nothing. There's a lot of space between all and nothing. Whatever's in there is a playground. Let's get them in there and make those things happen. And if they really don't want to do something, it's okay. So, you know what? This might not be the right time for you to be in the business. This is up to you. I'm here in support of you when you have the desire to do something more in your business. And if not, I'd love to be your personal shopper and support you in getting these products at a discount. It is up to you what you want to do. So where do you want to play here? Sometimes that's just get cut to the chase because you're chasing people around the block, 19 laps. You're exhausted. That's what burns out leaders. Someone asked, I think it was for Joanna, has she branded herself online to get leads? Well, there's a lot of things that you can do online, and everybody really using social media is important, and LinkedIn and the rest of them. It's good. So, and yes, getting a brand for yourself so people know who you are is a great idea. But see, this was coaching, so I wouldn't have given her that idea because that's not coaching. An introduction compared to a cold call is another word that you could use. An introduction or a exploration call or a just a catch-up call. Or and right now people want to hear from others because they're feeling isolated. Hi Susie, this is Nikki, and I haven't talked to you in a few years, and I just was thinking about you. How are you and your family doing right now? Is there anything I can do to support you? That will go a long ways, and be real about it. I've made an effort. I have it in my calendar 3 names. Every day I reach from people in my past, and these are my care calls, as Sheila says. I call because I care. When people know you care, they care more about you. Big difference. So, anybody else that has a question, comment, thought, I got a couple of other names up, and I'm going to come back because I'm. If you'll stay on with me, I will come back, and I see Barbara, you've got your hand up, and Rosie, you've got your hand up. I'll come back to you at the end. I want to also share with you what's coming up. We have a new online Coach Excellence School, and it's starting August the 18th through September 8th. If you put in that code that's at the bottom there, you can participate. We just did, we finished some level one. This is the first level school that we've done in the past. You can put this into 6 monthly payments too. So it's even after the school's done, you can finish up those payments. And it's really quite interesting. We've never done that. You always had to have it paid in full before you did it. Because years ago we got stung by somebody and we didn't want it to happen again. People have been wonderful, wonderful. So the class dates, it's on Tuesdays and Thursdays. August 18th is the beginning date. They're an hour every Tuesday and Thursday. The 8th class on September 10th is for 2 hours. So if you go to dswa.org/August, you'll find that class, or you can go to dswa.org/events, and you'll see some other classes that we have. We just want to make sure that you get in there and get registered because it's a limited number. Anybody that's been in a recent online class that wants to type into the box how that benefited you, and those of you that have been before, you can do the online course, and second time back, you can do it for half price. So if you did a live, you can come back to the online for half price. Type in refresh in all capitals, refresh, refresh, and you'll get the half price at the end when you check out. And Kim, thank you. I'm so glad that you enjoyed the presentation. Glad that you were here. So I'm going to, unless there's any, oh, somebody asked me to repeat something and I didn't do that. Let's see. What was it that you asked me to repeat? Can you repeat the difference between training and coaching? Training is me, it's my agenda, I'm telling you. Coaching, it's the person you're coaching, their agenda, you're drawing from them, you're asking. And training, you're the expert, you have all the knowledge. In coaching, the person you're coaching is the expert on their life. I'm not an expert on anybody else's life, only on my own. So those are two distinctions, and there's a list of about 10 that you learn about right in the very first day of class. So we know that that will be good. Here is, thank you, Nikki. I'll watch the recorded call. Gotta run. Thank you for being here with us. So, and I really hope you'll share, the replay with other people because this is a missing link in our profession. People do not know. So I'm going to stay here, and I'm going to allow Rosie to talk. And so you should be unmuted right now, Rosie, if you have a question. And I guess, who's this? Just a second. Where are you, Rosie? There you go. It still shows your microphone is on, so you must not be able to. No, there you go. Yes, Rosie. Can you speak up? Rosie Espindola. All right, so I'm going to put you back on mute, and I'm going to go with Barbara. So give me just a second, Barbara. Barbara, allow to talk. So Barbara, what would you like to share?
Mute. Okay, I think I'm unmuted, yes.
Yes.
And I don't know why my screen is not working, but, oh, well, you see the picture of Norman and I.
Yes, I do.
Okay. You know, Nikki, I love getting on these calls with you. I just absolutely always take something away. And I've learned so much from you. My question to you is, when you go into a coaching conversation, what is it? What is your North Star? What is your big question you keep asking within yourself that lets you drive the point home, as you do always, of, you know, I'm in this for them, I'm helping them move forward? What is it? What is that? What is your North Star as you do coaching that keeps you so in tuned and alert to the other person?
Thank you for asking that, Barbara. It has always been, how can I be of the greatest service to this person?
Mm.
That is it. How can I be of the greatest service to this person? See, and let it be their outcome. Remember, in
Yes.
coaching, it's not, you don't own the outcome. You've released that. You let them own their own outcome. And then you don't carry all that weight around with you of everybody else's stuff. So my North Star is, how can I be 100% present with these people right now? How can I be of the greatest service to them? And I just ask, please give me the questions that will make this person think to move beyond their current circumstances.
Okay, that's it. Because I can find myself, like you were saying, I'm a great listener.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a great listener. And sometimes, you know, I get to the end of a conversation and go, okay, I think they had some ahas. I think they got some movement forward. But you're also asking, and what are the questions I can ask to move this person forward in the way they want to move forward?
Mm-hmm. It simplifies things. Because, see, this is, you know, somebody just made a nice comment. You're so good at this. I wasn't good at this at the beginning. I had no clue. And there wasn't a roadmap to follow. We had to figure out how to teach in a systematic format so people in our profession could understand this skill set. And so I wasn't very good. It took me a lot of questions to move somebody. The more you do it, the better you get. And especially when the focus is not on you. I can't be thinking about me. I got to be totally in that moment with that person. So being 100% present, taking out the distractions. So sometimes, like, I have essential oils I burn in while I'm talking to people. Sometimes I close my eyes and just, there's nobody else in the room but that person. It's harder on Zoom these days. They think you're snoozing over there. But the idea is to be, sometimes I tap my heart just to stay in that place with that person and heart centered, and to hear the meaning behind the words. All of that is all part of this. So thank you for asking that, Barbara. You'll find that space. It's letting go of all your own stuff, being centered before you go on to that call. To There's no attachments. I'm just here. It's a beautiful thing. It's very freeing too. Very freeing. And you know, sometime I'd love to have you and your handsome husband come back and a refresher, and it is half price, because we've probably, well, we're on our 53rd revision of book number 1.
And I'm not looking at your numbers. And can you say what half price is? What is that number?
It's $9.95, so it's half of that.
Okay.
So less than $500. So it's a good price for people. Most coach schools are around $5,000. So we know we've got it at a good price point for people. Let me see.
Yes.
Anything else from you, Miss Barbara?
Oh, I could sit and talk to you all day and listen to you for a day and a half. So no, I think I'm doing well for right now. Life is good. I am doing coaching with some of the people in my team, and having good conversations with them. Have actually gone outside of my direct, my network marketing business, and I'm doing some coaching there too.
Oh,
So, it's being of service. I can do that. That is something I do well. But I think the second part of and I go there too, is what is the question I can ask that's really going to move this forward, and watch for the inner guidance to move that in.
that's it. You got to listen.
Yeah.
That's it. We think we know. See, when you're in your head, you're trying to think of that question. If you're just a vessel, you get the question to ask.
Yes.
Very different. Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you, Barbara.
Oh, thank you, Nikki. I appreciate you.
You too. So someone just said breathing belief into others. That is a really, I guess, a good way of looking at this, because when you breathe belief into others, it's because you believe in them and they don't yet. So always acknowledge people. Let people know that you see their greatness, that you know that they matter in the world. Just find ways. There's millions of those words. You're enthusiastic, you're creative, you're, spontaneous, you're fun, you have enthusiasm, you have a tenacity, you are there's thousands of words. Don't forget to say those words to people so that they feel you really see who they are being. And that is a big thing. Okay, I have another question. And I don't know if these are all people wanting, but you're raising your hand. If you're raising your hand, I'm going to stay on a few more minutes and call on you. And this is Deborah. So Deborah, I'm allowing you to talk. I think I got you. Deborah Lemons.
Yes.
Yes. How can I support you, Miss Deborah?
I have trouble repeating the same thing over and over. So then I forget what I've told the hostess or future team members, and I feel like I'm spinning my wheels.
When remembering what you've said, in what context? In training?
Like hostess coaching, or talking to a future team member about joining.
So what is your process for hostess coaching?
Well, we have a list, to go by. But I feel like I'm saying the same things over and over, and I get bent out of shape, I guess. I don't.
Let me just move over on a question here.
Okay.
A minute, because this is for everybody. Our old way of hostess coaching was we would tell them things. We would tell them, you don't need to make fancy food. Just do something light. Just turn off the phone, kick out the husband, get the dogs outside. We gave them a list of all these expectations. That is what today's hostess coaching looks like. Today's hostess coaching is being interested in that host. So a question such as, of all the people that are coming to your event, tell me a little bit about them. Who are they? So you have an idea of the styles. What would matter most to them to receive at this event? What kinds of products do you think that they would like? What's on your wish list for you to get for half price? So it's asking to understand them, not tell them what to do. They don't work for us, folks. So you want them to have the best experience possible. So what do you want to come out of this event? Sometimes they'll say, I want my friends to have fun. So you better get your funny bone on. Maybe you can't tell jokes, but have interactive fun things happening. Or maybe they say, well, because everybody's bored and we want to get together and things. So make sure you have time for them to talk and ask questions and express themselves. So that it's different. So you don't have to memorize this. It's just getting to understand them so that you can be of the greatest service to them. Does that make sense to you?
Yes.
Perfect.
Yes, it does.
Okay, I have time for two more here. That was Deborah. I'm going to look at LaRue, if I can open yours up and allow to talk. Miss LaRue, did you have something you wanted to share?
Oh, hey there, Nikki. Can you hear me okay?
I can, thank you.
Great, great. Okay, just what is a good opening question when somebody says, you know, they just don't have any inspiration or motivation to get moving this new year. They just, you know, that it is that stuck feeling like they don't feel like doing anything at all. So
Okay,
where would you
can be
start?
that person? Can you be that person, LaRue, and use
I
their...
would love to be that person because I kind of am that person.
Alrighty. Okay, so say that to me one more time. I feel stuck. I don't know what to do, or I don't know that I want to do it.
Right. I look at what's available this year and I think it would be amazing to accomplish, you know, like a new vehicle, let's say. And then when it comes down to getting into action, I don't do anything at all.
What do you think that's about, LaRue?
I think it feels the goals I have set for myself are so far away from where I currently am at this moment. It feels too big, and I think what can I do today to reach that?
So the goals feel too big.
Yes.
Okay. So who's setting those goals?
Oh, that would be me, Nikki.
Ah, so what adjustments can you make on your goals so you feel they're achievable?
Okay. You know, it would, yeah, I think seeing, I don't want to just say something to say it. Let me think here. And let me turn off my timer in a sec.
Thank you.
Deciding on a goal that would get me excited that I could accomplish in 1 month.
So what would that goal be for August?
Okay.
You can go back.
Knowing my end goal, it would be, you know, sharing this opportunity with 10 people.
And where are you going to find these 10 people?
Well, you know, for my, you know, I always feel like I want to share the product first before the opportunity, or hand in hand together. Then it would be, you know, through, and I'm fine with virtual appointments. So then it would be sharing this product and then letting people know, you know, what it could do for them.
And who are those 10 people that you have in mind?
Some are current clients, and some would be probably people I have connections on social media with that I haven't written down on a sheet of paper yet. That would be a good start.
That would be a good start. So how
Yes.
will these people benefit from you reaching out to them about this?
I think they all benefit, because even if this business is not for them, they know the culture and they're more excited to be a part of even being a customer.
And
Or being more loyal. Yeah.
How do you benefit from sharing these opportunities with people?
Well, if I think back to my earlier days, and this has just hit me. This is so amazing. Just, I never want to be a person that would make a decision for somebody else. You know, it's not my place to decide for them. And, you know, how selfish would I be if I didn't share and let them make their own decision?
And when you don't ask, what is their answer?
Well, it's got to be a no, because they have no other choice to make.
So, and you mentioned the word selfish.
Yes.
So how selfish would you like to be?
Well, I want to be totally unselfish. I want to be totally giving, and yes.
Well, how has your company been a gift to you?
Okay, well, in lots of ways. There is, well, for me as a leader, team building gets me extra points for a vehicle as well as other prizes that I've, haven't ever earned before. That would be amazing to earn that for the first time.
How many more friends do you have because of this business?
Oh, wow. Yeah, my entire organization, well, not the entire, but I would say 90% of my organization that I adore are people I had not met before I joined or before they joined me.
How many people do you think are feeling isolated right now in the current circumstances?
Oh, wow. A lot. I would say, yeah, more than 50% of the people are.
How many people do you know that could benefit from having more friends?
Right. All of those people. Yeah. I mean, well, who really couldn't? I mean, people that, totally care for them, not just acquaintances, but, those people who are invested in building people up.
Mm. So how committed are you to making those calls within a week?
I am at a 10.
Beautiful. How am I going to know so I can cheer you on, honey?
Wow. Well, I would love to reach out to you and in whatever method would be good. Just an email. Would that be good?
Here, the simplest way, I have a new page for my Facebook because my other one filled up. You can only do 5,000 on one. So it's
Okay.
the letter N dot Keohoho, and just send me a message to that. I really am
Okay.
excited to hear how this goes. How are you feeling right now?
Oh, I feel amazing.
Um,
And there's nothing like taking your eyes off of yourself and into the lives of somebody else that you could bless. And, I really do, this stuckness has been all about me.
Isn't that interesting? Good for you.
Mm-hmm.
Congratulations. And having a servant's heart. I know it's important for you to serve and be of service to other people. And you have an opportunity to be a friend, to be a leader, to be a mentor, to be a coach, to anybody that you come in contact with. And because your heart's in the right place, you will benefit so many more people by stepping up and stepping out. Good for you.
Wow, Nikki, thank you for those words. Thank you so much for those words.
Aloha. Okay, I had a couple of other comments. Um, this is for you, Selena. You said, I'm not a big dreamer and lack vision. First of all, remember when you say I am, and especially I am not, it's just like ingraining that into your brain. So we want to shift that language. And I don't see that you have a microphone, so I can't open you up. I think you must have called on your phone. Um, Here's the thing, lack vision. In life, everybody, you must slow down so you can speed up. You've got to slow down and see beyond your current circumstances. What would you prefer for your life to look like? That's a great place to get a new vision. What would I prefer my life to look like? Maybe right now you're dead broke and you're about to get kicked out of your house because you haven't been able to pay the rent, or your car is being repossessed, which is happening to a lot of people right now. How would I prefer to have my life look? And then how can I make that happen? The only people that shut down our dreams are those dream takers that we let do it. That's in your mind. You're in control of your mind. Control your thoughts. Look to the future. A big part there. I think those were the main questions that came out. And God, so many people stayed on the line. I'm excited to have you here. I now have my next and final proficiency for our level 2 coach school that's coming up right after this. So I need to get over there for that. But I just am so excited that so many of you stayed. And those of you that have been in a school before, remember, use the code to come on for the refresher, all capitals, REFRESH, refresh. When you do the code, when you sign up for this class, it'll put it in there and discount it right at the end. Get folks in there because second time is always better. Hey, Bridget, can I ask if I can unmute you for a minute because I want to ask you a question? I'm going to see if that will work for you. No, it's not going to let me allow you to talk, darn it. I wanted to see if you would share because this is your second time, and I wanted to know how being on the online courses supported you with the other course. And if there's anybody else that would like to do that, just let me know and I'll do it. So get registered today. Hope you had fun. Love all of you. Love being a part of what you're all about in your life. Direct selling is a wonderful profession. We've all made the choice to be around this. Let's take it and run with it. Let's share the gift with as many people as we can. Let's become proficient at coaching so we can retain people longer, that they can stay and find their own measure of success. Everybody's success level is different. Success to one person can mean something very different to another. Find out what it means to them. When someone says, I want to be successful, what does success mean to you? Is a great question to ask so you understand. Aloha, everyone. Have a blessed day and a great week. We hope we see you on the Coach Excellence School. And everyone, enjoy the summer. Get ready for some great things to happen in our profession and in your business. Aloha.